This video dives deep into the TV series From, including all the latest plot details. So if you're not caught up, beware. Spoilers ahead.
Have you had questions about Season 2 and From?
And in this video, we're going to explore 10 From theories.
We might have just cracked the code of this mysterious town.
In this video, we will try to decode its possible meaning.
Where my head explodes because this show is absolutely insane.
Here are all the questions From needs to answer before Season 2 ends.
You're driving down a long, quiet road. Maybe you're heading home after a long day at work, or maybe you're off on a family vacation eager to leave your worries behind. The trees seem to grow taller, the road narrows, and then, out of nowhere, a fallen tree blocks your way. You're forced to take a detour. Soon you arrive at a small, quiet town. Welcome to From, or should I say Fromville, the town that doesn't let you leave. Hello, adventurers. In today's video, we'll be covering what we know so far, we'll explore the key players stuck in this terrifying place, break down the town's most chilling conspiracy theories, and finally, I'll share a theory of my own, and lucky you, you've got a front row seat to the horror that lurks behind every corner of this seemingly peaceful yet sinister town. So without further ado, let's get into it.
We didn't come here. We were brought.
From is a horror mystery series that puts its characters and us in a small town that nobody can escape from. It's like one of those towns that would definitely make you turn the car around if you had a choice, but guess what? You don't. No matter what you do, you can't escape. Every road out of town just loops back to where you started, and the worst part, once night falls, you're not just stuck. You're being haunted by creatures. These creatures aren't just your average monsters either. They're patient, they're calm, and they whisper things you want to hear. But don't be fooled, they know how to play the long game. You know, the kind that ends with you making the worst decision of your life, like opening a window, unlocking a door, thinking you might just make it. Well, you don't, unfortunately. And the only thing standing between you and them, magical rocks, also known as talismans, that somehow keep these creatures out. No one really knows how they work, but let's be honest, when it's your only line of defense, you don't ask too many questions, you just hope they keep working.
And who brought us here, Jeff? The island.
If you've got a feeling of deja vu right now, you're not alone. The slow burn mystery, the constant unanswered questions, the sense that no one knows what's going on, but they're all pretending they do. It's a familiar formula, and there's a reason for that. Two of Lost's executive producers, Jack Bender and Jeff Pinkner, are involved in From, and both shows ask the same central question. Are the characters here by chance, or have they been chosen?
This is impossible.
Yeah, it is.
By now, we've all asked, why can't they leave? What are the creatures? And who thought this no-exit town with nightly monsters was a good idea? And no, we still don't have answers. I'm as clueless as you are. But we will try to theorize, we will try to imagine, and maybe, just maybe, we will get to the bottom of what is happening. Before diving into the mysteries, let's meet the town's residents. Each brings their own story and hopefully some clue to what's going on. Although, let's face it, no one knows anything for sure. Victor is the longest surviving resident of the mysterious town. Having been trapped there since the 1970s or 80s, as a child, he witnessed the massacre of everyone he knew, including his mother and sister after they were attacked by the creatures. Traumatized, Victor survived alone for decades, documenting events through crayon drawings and creating makeshift maps to remember crucial details. Victor's unique knowledge of the town includes includes the faraway trees, which are mysterious portals in the forest that can transport people to unpredictable locations. These trees have helped him and others escape danger, though their destinations remain uncertain. He also has a connection to the boy in white, a mysterious figure who first appeared to him as a child. The boy in white seems to have a guiding role, giving cryptic messages that suggest he knows more about the town's mysteries. Victor believes these encounters are significant, though he often struggles to understand their meaning. Father Cautry arrived in the town after a tragic incident in his parish happened. He became a guiding presence for many, offering spiritual support and helping Boyd create a semblance of order. Cautry believed that their experience in the town might be part of a larger divine plan. However, he met a violent end when a creature slashed his throat. Now his presence lingers as a manifestation of Boyd's conscience. A former soldier arrives in the town of Fromville with his son Ellis during what was supposed to be a peaceful road trip. Boyd takes charge, trying to maintain order and find a way out of this nightmarish place. This responsibility pushes him to venture into the dangerous woods, where he makes a game-changing discovery: strange talismans that repel the terrifying creatures. But Boyd's search for an escape doesn't end there. Later in the series, Boyd and Sarah venture deep into the forest and discover a hidden dungeon, where Boyd meets Martin, a mysterious prisoner. Martin hints at a more sinister force behind Fromville, and in his dying moments, he infects Boyd with a strange parasitic condition, worms that burrow beneath Boyd's skin, causing agonizing pain and vivid, unsettling visions. Struggling with this new burden, Boyd begins to see hallucinations, but the worst threat comes from the music box monster, a new and sinister presence that can possess and torment the residents through their dreams, driving them into comas or worse. Despite the mental and physical toll, Boyd presses on, knowing that his survival, and possibly that of the entire town, depends on it. In a pivotal moment, Boyd manages to turn his curse into a weapon, using the infection to kill one of the creatures, hinting that maybe, just maybe, they're not completely helpless. Sarah arrives in the mysterious town with her brother Nathan, having fled an abusive relationship. Shortly after arriving, she begins hearing voices that claim to offer a way back home, but demand terrible acts in return. The voices compel her to kill in the clinic, and later Nathan himself, whom she accidentally kills with a scalpel while attempting to harm young Ethan. Afterwards, she is secretly kept in the church by Father Cautry, who believes she has a unique connection to the town's mysteries. Following his death, Sarah joins Boyd on a journey through the forest, where she hears more cryptic messages and faces terrifying apparitions. Despite her attempts to distance herself from the voices and the violence they drive her to commit, she remains haunted by guilt and distrust from the townspeople. Jim Matthews, haunted by the death of his infant son Thomas, takes his wife Tabitha and their children Julie and Ethan on a road trip to Yellowstone as a last attempt to reconnect before a planned divorce. Their journey takes a turn when they become trapped in Fromville. Jim, a practical man, becomes obsessed with understanding the town's strange nature, teaming up with fellow newcomer Jade to build a radio tower, hoping to reach the outside world. Their efforts yield a cryptic message, warning that Tabitha's digging in the town's mysteries could be dangerous. This only deepens Jim's beliefs that they're all part of a sinister experiment, straining his relationships as he searches for answers. Jimbo's desperate search for clues nearly results in disaster, but he remains driven by the hope that uncovering the truth might finally offer his family a way out. Tabitha also carries deep grief over the death of their infant son Thomas. As Jim obsesses over understanding their situation, Tabitha focuses on unraveling the town's mysteries by digging beneath their house to find the source of the strange, unexplainable power. Her digging leads to a discovery that the wires go nowhere, adding to the town's enigma. She later falls through a weakened floor into hidden tunnels, where she encounters Victor, who guides her through the maze place-like underground, warning her that the creatures sleep there. Victor helps Tabitha escape the tunnels. She learns of a lighthouse from Victor's past tied to the visions she had of ghostly children. Determined to understand their pleas for help, Tabitha follows Victor's guidance to a faraway tree, which transports her to the lighthouse. At the lighthouse, the boy in white pushes her out of a window, leading to a shocking twist. She wakes up in a hospital in the real world, where she learns she was found unconscious in the woods. Finding Victor's father, old paintings, and a familiar bracelet in Henry's car, Tabitha questions whether she truly escaped. When Henry tries to calm her, a sudden car crash leaves Tabitha and Henry in an ambulance. The paramedics mention their search for her after she fled the hospital, but their route is blocked by a familiar sight, a fallen tree, hinting that the nightmare might not be over. Donna arrived with her sister on a hunting trip, but after ignoring warning signs, they stumbled into the town at dusk, leading to her sister's gruesome death. This traumatic experience hardened Donna, shaping her into a tough but protective figure for the residents of Colony House, where she maintains strict protocols for safety and order. Despite her tough exterior, she reveals a caring side, especially when monitoring younger residents like Fatima and comforting Ethan. Her skepticism about escape attempts include Jim's radio tower reflects her belief that maintaining stability is as crucial as finding answers. Julie is the eldest child of Jim and Tabitha. Unlike her family who chose to live in the town, she chooses to stay at Colony House, forming bonds with residents like Fatima and Ellis. Julie later becomes possessed by a supernatural force tied to the music box monster. Boyd eventually frees her from the monster's hold, reuniting her with her relieved family. Ethan is the second child of Jim and Tabitha. As he adjusts to their strange new reality, Ethan frames their situation through the lens of his favorite story, The Flight of the Cromanacle. And something tells me that this book isn't just an average prop, imagining their struggle as a hero's quest. He forms a bond with Victor, who introduces him to the mysterious faraway trees and the boy in white, whom Ethan believes has chosen him for an important mission. We meet Jade shortly after the Matthews family arrives in Fromville. He's on a celebratory road trip with his best friend Toby after selling his software company. But their joyride takes a dark turn, obviously, who would have guessed that, when they crash into a tree while trying to avoid the Matthews RV. Once Jade is conscious, he thinks that the whole situation is an elaborate prank or escape room, something Toby might have cooked up as a joke. But that theory shatters when he sees Toby's body, and the grim reality sinks in. Determined to crack the mystery, Jade sets out to understand how Fromville works. He believes there must be a logical explanation, but then he starts experiencing terrifying visions, and most disturbingly, he keeps encountering a strange symbol carved in hidden places, starting with a root cellar where he sees a corpse crushed by a boulder. Jade becomes obsessed with the symbol, convinced it's a key to the town's secrets. He teams up with Jim to build a radio tower, hoping to send a distress signal, but a freak storm destroys their efforts before they get a chance to test it. Meanwhile, the symbol continues to haunt him, appearing in his visions and in old journals that seem to connect to the town's hidden history. Jade later finds out that a man named Christopher saw the same symbol before he met a tragic end. Desperate for answers, Jade ventures into the tunnels beneath the town, where he encounters visions of children chanting beneath a ceiling of roots forming the symbol. It's terrifying, but it also feels like a breakthrough. And also, it didn't really feel like a breakthrough. It mainly felt like we just had more questions because nothing was answered. Kenny became trapped in the town with his parents. After his father's dementia led to a tragic death at the hands of the creatures, Kenny took on the role of deputy under Boyd, trying to maintain order amidst chaos. Christy, a third-year medical student, quickly took on the role of the community's de facto doctor, managing the makeshift clinic with limited resources. She has a strong relationship with Kenny, especially after her fiancé Marielle arrives, bringing with her struggles of addiction that Christy must navigate. Fatima, a resident of Colony House, started as Ellis's girlfriend and is now his wife, carrying their child, though there is something unsettlingly abnormal about the pregnancy. Ellis is Boyd's son, lives in Colony House, and is married to Fatima while also expecting their first child. Just when things couldn't get more chaotic, a bus arrives bringing in a new batch of troubled souls. Among them are Randall, who's as charming as a brick, Elgin, who dreamt about this place before arriving, and Marielle, who happens to be Christie's long-lost fiance, and also Tilly, a grandma who is unfortunately dying of cancer, but there is something so sinisterly suspicious about her. But what does this all mean? Are we dealing with a supernatural experiment gone wrong? A twisted social game orchestrated by unseen forces, or something even more sinister? Before we dive into the endless speculation and fan theories, some plausible, some absolutely wild, let's take a moment to breathe, because trust me, we're about to go down a rabbit hole of theories that will make your head spin. So, strap in and keep your tinfoil hats handy, because things are only getting stranger from here. After that quick catch-up, I did what anyone in my position would do. I went straight to Reddit. You know, for the conspiracy theories, hoping to find some clarity in this madness, and wow, did I find some theories, ranging from the disturbingly rational to the downright hilarious. Here are some of the most interesting takes that fans have cooked up about From. This Reddit user believes the town is a twisted creation of Victor's mind, with everything rooted in dark fairy lore. It's a theory that connects to ancient mythology, suggesting that creatures might be feeding off Victor's deep-seated fear. In this perception and this view, the entire town is a construct, a kind of dreamscape where Victor is the key. Drawing parallels to Dungeons and Dragons, the creator of this theory imagines the creatures as entities from another realm, Fae perhaps, who are using Victor's terror as their power source. If that's the case, Victor's survival is less about luck and more about being the unfortunate linchpin holding everything together. Swindle Spoon has a theory that's straight out of a psychological thriller. They think the whole setup might actually be a mental institution where the residents are patients with various conditions like PTSD, schizophrenia, and depression. The kicker, maybe not everyone we see is actually there. Some could be figments of other characters' imaginations. It's all very Shutter Island meets A Cure for Wellness. And Tabitha? Well, according to this theory, she might have actually escaped the asylum only to be found lost in the woods, confused and searching for answers. If true, it means that everything we've been watching could be an elaborate hallucination, making the monsters nothing more than metaphorical demons in the characters' minds. Now, probably the most popular theory out there, and I should have started it with this one, but I wanted to settle you guys in. Taryn Matharu dives deep into the show's possible historical roots, weaving a complex backstory that ties everything to a witch's deal with a demon during the Age of Discovery. It all kicks off with a desperate mother who strikes a deal to save her child, only to be trapped in a game with a demonic twist. The game? Tarot cards. According to this theory, each resident represents a different tarot card, and the town itself is the game board. As the theory goes, the town's current occupants are just the latest round in a game that's been playing out since the 1450s, cycling through timelines and alternate versions of the town. It's a theory that offers a poetic and slightly terrifying twist. Imagine being stuck in an endless loop, trapped between two timelines, while eldritch entities play cards with your life. Chop 76 envisions a more high-tech origin story for the town, a futuristic VR therapy program designed to help people process trauma and grief. In this scenario, some of the residents are real, while others might just be NPCs, virtual characters designed to guide the players through their emotional journeys. The idea is that people who've endured severe trauma find themselves in this virtual world, forced to confront their fears head on. It's a little bit Westworld and a little bit group therapy gone wrong, very, very wrong, and the creatures, perhaps they're manifestations of unresolved grief or pain, turning what should be a therapeutic experience into a terrifying ordeal. And now for a dose of bittersweetness. Depressed Dino Dad suggests that the real antagonist isn't some supernatural force or something hidden that we just didn't uncover. It's the friends we made along the way. Yep. That's right, the relationships, the bonds, the very human struggles for survival might be the true source of conflict in From. It's a theory that cuts through all the supernatural possibilities to focus on painful truth of human connection. Maybe the town's biggest challenge isn't the creatures lurking in the dark, but the emotional baggage that each character carries with them. And for those who prefer simplicity, there's stunning Top's 3180's take on the mystery. Aliens. That's it. No elaborate backstory, no layers of symbolism, just aliens. They're running the show, pulling the strings, and possibly having a good laugh at our confusion. It's straightforward, no frills, and hey, sometimes you just have to embrace the absurd. And quite frankly, I also can't call this absurd because it makes sense. Because what if they are abducted by aliens? After considering all the fan theories, after doing my fair share of ideation, and after rewatching the show for the second time, I believe Fromville is primarily a simulation where reality is carefully manipulated, distorted, and controlled by unseen forces. Now, these unseen forces might be a cult, might be a sect. My general idea is that Fromville is a simulation controlled by a cult. From the moment I started piecing together the mysteries of From, I've truly been convinced that this town is more than a supernatural trap. It's the product of a simulation crafted and controlled by a cult/sect with a hidden agenda. It all starts to make sense in season 3, episode 1, when Tabitha wakes up in a city far removed from Fromville streets. While wandering, she opens Victor's lunchbox and finds a label with his full name and address. She follows the trail to a house where she meets Victor's father, Henry, a man who thought his family had died long ago. In episode 2, we get a glimpse into Victor's family's past. The father explains that he and his wife took acid on his 35th birthday, and she, Miranda, his wife, began seeing visions of children needing help, visions that matched Tabitha's own experiences. Furthermore, his wife's visions of Fromville were so vivid that she even painted them, years before they were physically trapped there. This revelation suggests a deeper influence at play, leading me to suspect a cult. Victor's father also mentioned that him and his wife, long before they had children, were hippies, but history shows that some such groups evolved into secretive, powerful organizations, ones that could manipulate minds and shape reality.
A couple thousand years ago, disciples, those who are trying to prepare themselves for entry into the evolutionary level above human.
These are the times now, people, okay? These are the times we will all remember.
Now, is the pain gone?
What if this cult wasn't just about drugs and living a carefree lifestyle and loving everything around you, but about using these experiences to make people more susceptible to manipulation? This is where the simulation aspect comes in. If this cult believes in the power of the symbols and talismans, what if they use that belief to create a controlled environment, trapping people in a reality where they could test human behavior? Much like the Animatrix, the cult could have built a world that looks and feels real but operates in its own rules. The talismans, which protect against the creatures, are more than just artifacts. They're pieces of code within the simulation designed to keep their rules in place. The end of season 2 hints strongly at this when the boy in white pushes Tabitha out of the town, calling it the only way out. But when she wakes up in a hospital, things are off. Boats move strangely, her reflection doesn't match her own face. It's as if she's still trapped within a different layer of the simulation where reality bends to the cult's will. The cult could be running the simulation to test the limits of fear and resilience. Characters like Jade, for instance, who become obsessed with decoding the town's symbols, might be close to uncovering the truth. These symbols could be markers left by the cult to maintain their grip on this fabricated reality. Meanwhile, the radio tower, a project that somehow works despite disconnected wires, suggests that the environment itself is manipulated, as if it's all being watched and controlled. It feels like Big Brother is ever present, making sure the simulation runs smoothly. The cult's origins might lie with people like Victor's parents, early recruits, who were drawn in through the drugs and visions manipulated into believing they were part of something greater. Perhaps Victor's family was among the first to be absorbed into this cult's experiment, with Victor becoming an unwitting link between the simulation and the real world. As for the creatures, I see them as a part of the simulation's programming, designed to control the residents through fear. Now, I know we heard a lot of supernatural theories today, be it aliens, be it tarot cards, and while those theories have a place to be 100%, I'm not denying that, here's why I can't accept a purely supernatural explanation. Growing up, I devoured mysteries like Scooby-Doo, Nancy Drew, and Sherlock Holmes. Those stories taught me that there's always a logical explanation behind the ghost in the attic or the monster in the woods. And now, this might be an unpopular opinion, but this is exactly what I want from. A twist that reveals humans behind the curtain, pulling the strings, creating horrors that feel real but have a deeper purpose. If the show ends with a grounded, carefully crafted twist that ties everything back to the cult and the simulation, I'll be thrilled. But then to craft a story like this, to make it something super interesting, to make it something that we've never seen, it has to be so well thought out, like the Hound of Baskerville from Sherlock, the BBC version of it. That was good because for a moment, just a moment, we believed. We were like, oh shit, well, you know, maybe this is it. But no, in reality, it was something more. It was all humans at the end of the day. So where does this leave us with From? Whether you're fully on board with my theory or you think I'm way off, one thing's for sure, From has us all hooked. At the end of the day, this is just my take on what could be happening in Fromville, but I know the show's got a way of throwing curveballs. I mean, who knows? Maybe the next episode will reveal that the town is actually powered by an army of demonic squirrels, and that could happen. That's the thing. We don't know what might happen. But if you've got your own theories, whether it's aliens, time loops, or something completely out of left field, I'd love to hear them. Go ahead, share your wildest, funniest, or most out there theory in the comments below. If nothing else, we can all agree that the journey is the fun part. Until next time, keep your doors locked, your talismans ready, and your conspiracy hats on, because in Fromville, the game is far from over. Thank you to all who took the time of day to watch this video, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.